Hi, and welcome to The Community Producers, a monthly show created by volunteers like myself. I'm your host, Cheyanna Shypitka, and on this episode, we take in the 150-year Canada Day celebrations and explore the growing parkour movement in Nelson. The village of Greenwood recently celebrated their 120th birthday, and we were there to catch all the celebrations.
Happy Founders Day.
On site for Founders Day in Greenwood, it was a special year for sure. The 120th anniversary, the 70th anniversary of Japanese internment. There's been a lot to organize, Chris.
There is a lot to organize, and our core group committee, they've been working on this. They start in September, fundraising and trying to get their grants for the event when it comes up in July. So it's a 10-month process to get this going.
Well, the history is so deep here, and it's been nice to have family goal panning on site as one of the unique events we have here. But with 85 vendors, were you expecting this many?
Generally, we've had about 40 in previous years as a one-day event. So this is pretty spectacular, actually. And from what I understand, they're pretty much going to be here the whole weekend. So this is fabulous for us.
We zoomed in on the 75th anniversary of Japanese internment. How does the Japanese community still fit into this community to this very day?
The Japanese community actually for here is they're actually quite a quiet people, and they kind of sit in the background, but they've always been very, very involved with the arts and different things in the community, and they're always willing to come out and help, and it's quite amazing.
How much do you depend on the communities within Boundary Country to help with an event? Because when they're so large, you must rely on Midway, Rock Creek, maybe even over to Beaverdale and off to Grand Forks the other way. It really is a team effort in Boundary Country, isn't it?
It definitely is. I know there are people that are definitely wanting to be a part of this event, so they come from all over. Some of them up at Jewel Lake, some of them at Midway, Rock Creek, as you've said. So yeah, it's great that we can have volunteers that'll come out and help out with this.
What are some of the projects the Greenwood Board of Trade are working on right now?
Right now, we're trying to come up with different ways to being able to bind our business community better together, trying to get more of our businesses and the community known outside the area as well. So those are the kinds of things that we're really focusing on during this next year.
Are you finding that in the off-season, and when I'm saying the off-season, outside of the actual summer, are you finding those shoulder seasons in spring and fall are bringing more tourists, even international ones, to this area?
Yeah, it quiets down quite a bit here in the wintertime. So, you know, we get creative and find ways to bring people from outside into the community during the off season and get them to enjoy. We've got lots here: Jewel Lake, the ice fishing, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing in the areas. Then you're looking at Phoenix Mountain for the downhill skiing. There's lots to do around here. It's a matter of trying to find your little niche and what you like to do.
Thank you for being such a great host to us today.
You're very welcome, and join us again next year.
Talking with one of the directors and planners for the Founders Day each year. How did it go for 2017, Susan?
It went really well. We have a tremendous team of people who've been on this thing. Greenwood Board of Trade sponsors it, and the City of Greenwood, and a number of the members of the Board of Trade and a few volunteers from the community have just been spending part-time jobs working when the internment happened. Greenwood was the only and first city in Canada to write to the federal government in Ottawa and say, we'd like to have Japanese people come here because we have all these empty heritage buildings and we'd like them to be habitated. So we invited them, and when everything settled down and the internment was over, our mayor of Greenwood wrote again to the feds and said, we'd like them to stay. Please don't have them move on. Don't deport them or ask them to leave. So our Japanese citizens are an important part of the community. The generations have unfolded here. And the term Nikkei really refers to the sort of the diaspora, the Japanese people who've traveled out.
Listen, we're not going to let you go today without talking about the choir. You've got the G-Miners. You've got a new entertaining group up here in Boundary Country. Let's talk about them and your part in it then.
You know, the song that we sang today that was historic, the Annie Laurie, was sung in the late 1800s in Greenwood by Greenwood's very first choir, the Greenwood Choral Society. And I don't think there's been one here in many, many years, but we've just started the G-Miners. Today was our official coming out.
Okay, so we've got the camera right in there. So tell us exactly, step by step, what you teach people then.
Well, we tell them this is a shovel full of gravel out of Boundary Creek, which is right here. It's a gold-bearing creek, and There's a good chance there's natural gold in here. Of course, we've salted this pan so they can see how it works. And I tell them the first thing you do, we get the gravel wet. Gold is 19 times heavier than water. So as soon as we agitate it in water, it wants to sink right to the bottom. Agitate it in water. The light stuff has come to the top, we get rid of it. Agitate it again into the bottom of the pan. We'll have to do this about 6 or 8 times. And we can be very aggressive on this, of tipping it into those grooves, washing it into the bottom corner, washing the sand off. As you can see, it's already going quite dark as we concentrate the black sand. Once it's all down into that corner, we can swirl it off. So we've washed it down. We've got left the hematite nodules, the black sand, and what we're actually looking for. That's a half a tank of gas right there.
Very good, that little bit. Thank you for joining us on site.
Well, you're welcome. Yep. Great fun.
Founders Day in Greenwood. Family gold panning. Doug Hurd out of Penticton showing us how to pan for gold. Shaw TV community producers.
Canada's 150th birthday was cause for celebration throughout the Kootenays, and Boundary put on a celebration like no other with an iconic Canadian demonstration team.
Today we are having an air show to celebrate Canada's 150th birthday, as well as celebrating the excellence of Canadian aviation. We'll have a performance by the Skyhawks, and these are an aerobatic parachute team that is part of the Canadian Army. And they do this so that they can be deployed anywhere where emergencies are required. Then following that, it'll be Bud Granley. He flies a Harvard and has for many years. It was a training plane, and he does aerobatics like you wouldn't believe in a Harvard. Following that, the pilot, she will do what they call a sky dance with her airplane. And the show is going to close with the ultimate snowbirds aerobatic team.
Today for our show, we'll be exiting this sky van at 6,000 feet above the ground. Some guys will be deploying their parachutes right away. Some guys will free fall for up to 20 seconds. After we open our parachutes, some guys will build formations with 450 square foot flags, smoke grenades going off, and a lot of maneuvers going on.
Well, generally what we'll do for most people on sunny days is we'll do our full high show. Now here, obviously, you can take a look, and the backdrop, you can tell that might be a bit of a complication with your lovely terrain. So although visually appealing, it does make for its own challenges in the air. So what we're going to do is we've already done a quick practice between Snowbird 1, the boss, team lead, and solos. And basically what they did is they flew all their ground tracks per their normal show, and they kept an eye on where they had to adjust things for terrain, for the sterile area of the show, such that we can keep as many of our regular high show maneuvers in the show and just adjust them accordingly to keep everything safe. Obviously, the safety of the crowd, the safety of the people down below, and as well as our crews and our aircraft are of utmost importance. So we'll adjust accordingly to be safe, and secondly to put on a good show for the crowd.
I'm going to Sky Dance. It's a solo aerobatic performance with classical music, and it's an aerial ballet that I hope will inspire, and maybe there is a few new young pilots that will decide to go into aviation today. We never know.
I've never actually honestly heard of Grand Forks before. I've been in the BC interior, but never down here, and to be honest, it's quite beautiful. I've flown in Kelowna and Penticton, but it is equally beautiful here, and we are just impressed. I've managed to soak it all in so far, and we've gone trail running already, we've filmed the Milky Way and the stars already, and we're just waiting to put on a fabulous high show for the townsfolk.
For me, it's spectacular to come back home. I'm really proud to be from Victoria and of British Columbia as well. So for me to come back to BC and show everybody the skill, professionalism, and teamwork of the Canadian Armed Forces, it's an absolute thrill for myself. Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot of the smaller communities don't have runways that are capable of accommodating the snowbird jets. So for us to come and put on shows for the smaller communities is really important. And this being Canada's 150th anniversary, it's nice to share what we can do with this country and all the people within it, and share it with the people here.
It's a lot of us come from small towns. I grew up in Pugwash, Nova Scotia, so a super small town of about 700 people, and it's a great way for us to get out and do community outreach and show what the Canadian Armed Forces can actually do, and show them how much we love the support that we get.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. So we've performed for beach miles worth of kilometers worth of beach down in the United States, the Toronto CNE Air Show, and those are thousands and thousands of people. But to be honest, between you folks and myself, I almost prefer these shows. So Grand Forks with just over 4,000 people, half the town will probably be out here, if not more. And we get to interact. So there's people right here. There's no big fence, no kilometers of barrier, no aloofness to us. You see us, you see our technicians making sure the jets are ready. You see us getting ready, stepping for the aircraft. So it's very much like the community here. It's very community driven to put on such a show, and it's also very community oriented when we're this close to the crowd. So we're able to interact with people, we're able to chat with people at the fence, talk to kids and all that, and to be honest, that's as much of the show as the loops and rolls that you'll see in front of the airport today.
Red Path Movement is a parkour practice based out of Nelson. The club has grown in popularity within the Kootenays, especially since the opening of their permanent space located in the Nelson Boxing Club. They are currently training for the biggest parkour competition in North America, which is happening at the end of the month. We stopped in to find out more.
The event that's coming up that RPM is being part of is the NAPC 2017, the North American Parkour Championships.
We've been prepping now for, it's been about a month and a half for the competitions. We've had a group of 4 coming in every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday to train at 7 a.m. till 8 a.m. So they've been working a lot of their skills and a lot of conditioning to get prepped for this big competition in Vancouver.
So how I got interested in parkour was actually, it was on Facebook, and my sister was like, hey, we should do this for like 5 weeks. And then we all came as a class, and like me and my sister just kind of like fell in love with it. And it was just like such a good way, like I dance a lot. And so I kind of like the expression of dance and like being able to like emote something. And parkour kind of reminded me of that in the way that it's so creative, and it's basically what you make it. And it's not like, here, you're gonna be doing this move over and over again. It's like, we're gonna teach you how to move, and then you're gonna have to get through this like landscape, however you move through it, which was really cool.
So at the North American Parkour Championships in Vancouver, they have 3 different categories that they do for competition. They have style, which is based on kind of how many tricks you can do and how well you can perform those tricks. And those are judged by a set of 5 judges that are all parkour coaches, once again, from all across North America. They have a skill comp, which is taking a course that has specific skills that you have to do, so it's a very structured, you have to do it in a certain way, and they assess it based on performance, speed, and capability of doing it. The last one is the speed courses, which is all about just go, 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 and that's what our group is mainly training for this year, is that speed competition, so figuring out how to maneuver through all these different obstacles as quickly as possible.
Well, going to the championships, I'd say it's a really cool experience because I've never competed before. Like, this is my first time actually going to like an organized parkour event. Like, when I came into parkour, I never imagined it would evolve into this sort of thing. Like, I was just coming in for fun, but now it's really exciting that I can actually use my abilities to compete and stuff.
I think the most challenging for me actually is the idea of the competition we're going up against. Because before, when I was just doing the parkour for fun, I found that I wouldn't think about it. I would just push myself into anything. I'd be like, I just want to try this for fun. And now when I do something, I'm a little more like, I can visualize how much crazier of a level it's going to be at. And I'm like, whoa, this is like really hard for me to go over it like mentally.
It's actually not my first time going to this competition. So I'm pretty excited to be going back. The first time I didn't quite make it past the qualifiers. So I'm hoping to do a bit better than I did last time. But I'm really excited to be going back, and I mean, just seeing all these amazing athletes from North America. You meet from Boston, Seattle, Toronto, Calgary, that just come from all over. It's amazing.
I'm just really excited for these guys. I mean, the camaraderie that I've seen them develop in the short time that we've been together has been amazing. That to me is where the magic in all of this is, right? Is in those connections and through this common thing called parkour and NAPC 2017. It starts August 25th in Vancouver, being based out of Origins Parkour.
Millennium Park in Castlegar is the perfect backdrop for an annual yoga event that's geared towards a good cause. Here's more now on the Kootenay's largest outdoor yoga class.
today on this beautiful Sunday morning, and we are doing the largest outdoor yoga. It's put on by Orange Fitness, it's put on by Orange Express Castlegar, and this is Mandy Chutskoff. She is one of the owners of that beautiful studio. So the charity, Mandy, what is it for? It's Mats for Meta is the charity, and what do you guys promote and support?
So Mats for Meta, it's a charity that started 9 years ago. Sheila Chuskoff is the founder, and basically it's to get yoga mats, yoga instructors, props, just basically making yoga more accessible to the community. So every 1 year member who signs up at the studio, we donate a yoga mat to the community. This year we have Kootenay Elementary School.
Wonderful. The recipients, the other recipient is
Kootenay Society for Community Living.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
They're a nonprofit organization, is that correct?
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yep. And then this is a donation class, so all the donations get put towards getting instructors and props into the community.
So Mandy, why yoga mats? What is the yoga mats that you're getting out to the community? What is the benefit of the yoga?
Yoga in general just helps with your physical body, mental health, emotional health, and so providing yoga mats to the community just it gives you a great support and base. I practice not on a yoga mat and not a good quality one. These are Manduka and Lululemon mats, so they'll last you, the Manduka mats will last you forever.
That's great. Getting into the kids is nice to do when they're nice and young, so you can still touch your toes. So far we've got a nice little turnout. We've got a lot of people that are ready to do some yoga outside, and we have 4 different instructors that are leading us through the practice today. It's going to be amazing. With Orange being a franchise, we also have 6 other locations that are doing this today. So Grand Prairie, Kelowna, those are just a few to list, and it should be pretty fun. So we're excited that we have Shaw TV here to support us and to make this more accessible for our community, and it's going to be a blast. So hopefully next year we get to see you here.
You're so strong, you got this. Good, just one more, inhale, filling up. Nice, exhale. Good. Press your back into the ceiling or sky. Sweep your arms up. Inhale. And exhale. Sweep your hands down. You can press back to down dog. For those who want more, take up the down.
The Castlegar Youth Action Network put on an afternoon of fun and follies with a medieval theme, raising awareness of the group while celebrating another great season.
The Castlegar Youth Action Network is a program funded by Columbia Basin Trust. There are 28 of them in basin-wide communities, so we're the one for Castlegar. We're hosted by Castlegar Community Services, and we're a network of youth-led programming. So my job is to try to collect ideas from youth so that the programming is youth-led, and ideas from the community so that the community of service providers connect with youth. Today we are having a medieval day. So the Castlegar group, the core group here, are really into role-playing and live-action role-play, and the idea of medieval event, it's a really mini one, but they have one in the cusp. It's really big. We thought we'd just do a fun, small one today. Kids came out from Trail and Creston to join us. The program has been running for 3 years, and it started as a pilot project, and then it got increased funding from Columbia Basin Trust and more of a network base. So the kids we can be making the events, or we can be joining other events. So Spring Fling is an example where the kids from the Castlegar Youth Action Network for 3 years now, we've been the volunteer hub. And then I connect with other kids that are not maybe in the network, and then they come and volunteer, and then they get work experience, they get volunteer hours, that sort of thing. It's community building capacity, it's preventative work for teenagers. It's really about showing everybody in the community and teenagers themselves that they are important and that they are going to be the leaders of our future down the road. The schedule is always changing. It's very dynamic. People can come in with an idea, and like I say, it can always change. What I aim for is in the fall to have 3 days a week at least of after-school programming. So something like 3 to 6. It could be a drop-in. It could be an art activity. It could be a D&D night. It could be. So I'm aiming for at least 3 at the Community Services Shared Youth Center and Women's Center space upstairs to the left.
That's it for this edition of the Community Producers. If you have content or video you'd like to share with us, contact us via email at kootenays.shawtv@sjrb.ca or via our Shaw TV Kootenays Facebook page. I'm your host, Cheyanna Shypitka. Thanks for joining us.